Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Wellness for All webinar, where today we're going to be looking at desktop yoga and good back health. We know that within our Wellness for All charter, this will sit very strongly in our physical health, but also yoga has a lot of positive benefits around emotional and mental well-being as well. So what we're going to cover today, let's have a look. Well, we're going to look at what causes back pain. We're going to look at prevention and alleviation of back pain, and also how yoga can help you. We've got an expert with us today, Shannon. Shannon Phyllis is a yoga instructor and the co-founder of Yoga Tonic UK. She started practicing yoga 20 years ago, and she's found that lunchtime yoga was helpful in managing an intense desk job, both mentally and physically. Shannon still does some IT work, but her real passion is with teaching yoga. And she now helps to run Yoga Tonic UK with her husband and is keen about passing on the benefits that she's received throughout the years attending yoga classes. So thank you, Shannon, for joining us this morning. We're looking forward to this session. I think we're all guilty of perhaps sitting a bit too long in the wrong position over a laptop this last 16 months or so. So I'm certainly going to be listening intently today.
Yes, thank you very much, Tracy. And yes, again, my name is Shannon Phyllis from Yoga Tonic. And back pain is very, very important subject to me because I've had back pain throughout most of my career. And I started originally at a desk job. And over time, I was lucky enough to have a company that supplied yoga in the gym. And I felt that that was very, very helpful to me, especially because of my back problems. So I wanted to just cover this as a really special subject to me. So I would like to cover what causes back pain. So one thing is that a lot of the back problems, muscle problems, really work on the discs. They can have a lot of problems by sitting all day, that prolonged sitting. And it is one of the key things that causes problems with people missing work because of this muscular back, neck, even leg pain, hip pain. So the discs end up from prolonged sitting, they end up pushing apart, uncomfortable in certain parts of the body. And it's not just prolonged sitting at the desk, it's also eating your meals, it's also watching TV, maybe getting in the car when we used to commute. So we do a lot of sitting. So the statistics show that it's 8.9 hours on average that we sit every day. So thinking about back pain prevention. So a lot of these things are fairly obvious. One thing is the posture at your desk. And I know this happens to a lot of people, even myself. So when I'm not teaching yoga, I am actually at my desktop or my laptop at a desk. And when we all have deadlines, it's easy to forget. We're hunched over, the posture goes, we hold that posture for a long period of time, we don't move around, and it just happens. Your day goes by and you realize I haven't really moved at all. So having that good posture at the desk, maybe even just sitting a little bit upright, just rolling the shoulders back and trying to even set reminders to yourself. So another thing is ensuring that the screen's at eye level. I know that they often say that in any kind of desk fitting, that desk wellness. So even if you don't have any kind of risers or a standing desk, doing something like putting books underneath a laptop, getting a keyboard, just so you can make sure that it's at eye level. So we're not looking down and putting strain on the neck. Another thing is finding more ways to move around at your desk. So I do remember even when I was in an office, just standing up midway and stretching, and some of my work colleagues would tease me and say, oh, you know, you're getting really comfortable here. And you need to. So maybe people just felt a little bit embarrassed about stretching, but I think over the course of this past many months, we have realized that we have been in our home offices and sitting in potentially an unhealthy way. So There are many different ways to alleviate back pain. One thing is in a meeting such as this, you can maybe even just take the option now to stand up. So maybe even just standing right now, just to mix it up a little bit. That is quite important. One thing is also going on a walk. I know that sounds fairly obvious as well, but if you happen to listen to me, you might have meetings that you can just listen in on. So maybe that's a good time to just put your headphones in, take your phone out and go for a quick walk. If you are meeting people face to face, maybe doing a walking meeting rather than just sitting in front, sitting at a table. So alternating, as I said before, that kind of sitting and standing at the desk. So what I mentioned before, I know it is often hard to kind of work while standing, especially if you don't have a standing desk or something to allow yourself to do that. But we all have a lot of meetings throughout the day, so it's quite important to just find that time to stand. And doing stretches at the desk. That's one thing I'm going to show you today. So I'm sure that's what we want to do very soon. So just finding different stretches. I know you could kind of just move around, but there are different stretches that are shown to help other muscles in the body. So yoga, why does that help? So one key component of yoga isn't just the poses, it's the breathing. So yoga helps you really focus on the breathing, and it's not just the breathing, it's also just taking the mind away from the busyness. So that deep breathing physically can help stretch the muscles around the body. So I didn't really think about it, something you don't think about, but the rib cage has muscles between it. The muscles around the ribs, they connect to the back. So everything, the muscles, the fascia, everything connect together. So it's really, really important to take those deep breaths and notice how it stretches out the areas around there. So, and then deep breathing also has a lovely calming effect as well. So the breathing also connects with the nervous system. So that deep breathing can help relieve muscle tension by having that calming effect, that kind of deep breath. And it feels nice just to have that deep breath. So yoga obviously is a lot of body movement. So even if you're stretching out one muscle, you're also stretching other ones that surround it you might not even realize. So that's why yoga is so beneficial. So, and there's so many stretches you can do to help the back muscles. So it's even legs, everything that is connected to it. So, right, the one key reason why yoga is good for the back health is because at least the yoga that I like to teach focuses on the core muscle group. So there are a lot of different balancing poses you can do to help stabilize the body. So everything is connected through the core of the body. So it controls your limbs, but you're building strength in there. So one thing we can do right now together is just pull the belly button in towards the spine. And you get that instant support, the lower back. So those lower back muscles don't have to work so hard. So that muscle engagement really brings that stability. So desk yoga, we can all do it. We can all do it in our clothes. So we don't need to change into the fancy lycra or anything like that. We're just wearing our clothes. And then desk yoga can be done, you can do it on your own. So whatever you learn today can be done one stretch at a time. And so I'm hoping that I can show you some stretches that you could take away that will really benefit you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my desk. So I'm going to step back here. So I hope you can see my whole body here. I just want to start off with this desk yoga. I want to start off with grounding ourselves. Now, one thing I want to mention now, and I'll mention at the end as well, is over the next 4 weeks, on a Tuesday at 12:30, I will be leading 15-minute desk yoga, 15-minute sessions of desk yoga for you. So just bear that in mind, maybe mark your calendars, that we'll do something different every week so you can learn more poses to take away and do on your own. So let me get back to it. So we're talking about grounding. So let's all stand up, please. So And if you prefer not to stand, that's fine. Just make sure to keep your feet on the ground. So just standing at the desk or sitting with feet on the ground, and we're grounding ourselves. And I know that the word grounding is used quite a bit. And what that is that we spend most of the time in our mind. What we're trying to do is take the attention away from the mind, bring it all the way down the body to the feet. So that is known to have a profound effect for everything. In the workplace, in the past, I had a few stressful jobs working in the city of London, and I learned different techniques throughout that weren't necessarily yoga, but in a stressful time, feel your feet on the floor. Almost feel like you're growing roots, you're stabilizing yourself. So we're standing here. Let's together take 3 deep breaths. So we're inhaling, exhaling, and just taking that time to feel breathing. Again, inhale, exhale. So it can be into the nose or through the mouth, whatever you prefer. Inhale. Feeling that tallness coming through, that lift. Exhale. Okay, great. So let's remain standing. Again, if sitting is what you prefer to do, that's fine. So we can still do the same things. I can always modify as well. So going to start off standing and then come up to the tiptoe. So the hands are supported on the desk. Now I have one of these standing desks that I can come up and down. That doesn't matter. If you don't, just put it down to that desk level. So you don't need that. Move the chair away. We're going to come up to our tiptoes and down. And we're going to inhale, lift, exhale, down. Trying to focus on the inhale and exhale. So we're trying to take our mind away from all the busyness, the to-dos, the worries. Inhale, lift, come up onto the tiptoes, feeling. So the same thing could be done seated. You just lift up the heels and down, lift up heels and down. So again, standing up, tiptoes and back down. Okay, our next thing is another key kind of body positioning you can do that has a grounding effect is placing the hands on the head. So let's all place the hands on the head. We're going to do a side movement. So hands on head, and then we're going to move to the right side. So we're doing a side bend, coming back up. Side bend to the other side. Come back up. This time incorporate the breathing. Inhale over, exhale back. Inhale over, exhale back. So directing our attention to the breathing. Inhale over, exhale back. One more time, inhale over and exhale back. So we do this during a meeting with the headset on. Okay. Now let's do another twist. So we're going to now twist over to the right side. So now rather than going side to side, we're taking the body twisting, looking over to the right side and back, over to the other side and back. Hands are still on head, over to right side, back, other side, back. It doesn't matter which side. Okay, one more time on each side. Inhale, center, inhale, exhale, center. Good. Start to roll the shoulders. Shoulder rolls are a good one. So if you're just bringing the attention to the shoulders, notice what muscles are moving. So that would be the chest muscles, the ones that tighten up and may cause us to round our spine. So let's roll the muscles back the other way. So roll the shoulders, not the muscles, roll the shoulders the other way. So you can see here that movement. Okay. So now we're going to do a little bit more movement and focusing on the backs of the legs. So I'm going to move my chair away from my desk. I'm going to lift my desk up a little bit, but still, it can be done at every level, any level of desk. Start to walk the feet away. The hands are on top of the desk. Start to walk the feet away. Let the head drop down. So we're making an L shape with the body. We don't want to lock our knees out. We want to have a little bit of a bend, just the tiniest of bends. So I wanted to highlight that the backs of the legs connect with the bottom that connects with the lower back. And if any of these are tight, it's going to pull on the lower back and strain the lower back. So this pose should allow a nice relief to the backs of the legs, but also the middle of the back. Let the head hang down. Okay, take 3 deep breaths here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale one more time. Exhale. And then walk back to standing. Now, I'd also like to highlight that this can be done sitting as well. So any of these can be done sitting. You can just move the chair back, take the arms forward, and just bend forward. You can straighten both legs. As much as the knees will still stay bent if we're sitting. But you can always modify these poses. You can always modify any yoga poses, actually. They don't need to be perfect Instagram poses, well, especially at the desk. So next, balancing. So I spoke in the presentation about balancing. These can be done at the desk. I think that, so as we get older, just even if we're in our 20s, as we get older, we lose the balance. So one key thing to take away, just as a lifestyle thing, is to just try to balance a little bit each day. So I'm going to use our desk again. I'm going to ground. So grounding is another thing that helps with the balancing. So we're going to start off lifting up the right knee or any knee. We can just choose. Supporting ourselves with the hand on the desk, and then starting to do knee circles. So we're moving the leg, we're drawing circles with the knee, just any direction, because we'll always reverse it. And noticing if you feel any tightness in the hips. This is a good hip one. So again, we're finding movement. Reverse the circles. And this might be something that you can try, just you don't need to lean on the desk. You could just maybe take the hands off. It's hard to kind of move and stand. But we're remembering we're grounded. We still have roots growing beneath our feet to keep us stable, stuck to the ground. Okay, great. Other side. So just shake that leg out as well. So any movement you might feel, oh, you know, it might have put a little bit, not strain, but if you're not used to doing hip circles, you might really be feeling it. It's just getting the body moving. So other side. So just, you could hold on to the desk. We're making circles. So you can make them as big or as small as you'd like. Again, this can be done sitting. So making the circles, and that will help with the hip, maybe not with the balance, but it will help. Other direction, please. Moving in other direction. Maybe testing your balance out. It is hard to move the leg and balance, but one thing that will help is to pull the belly button in. That never fails. Pull the belly button in. Even if you're running, pull the belly button in. It will support the back. Of course, we're not running at our desk. I'm just using another reference point that you'll notice the difference. It really helps to stabilize the body. Now we're going to focus on a glute stretch. So this might be one that everybody has been waiting for, is that glute stretch, which can be done sitting and standing as well. So I might move my chair away, both hands again on the desk. I'm going to lift my right knee, bend the left a little bit, standing one, and then place that right ankle onto the left leg. So that hip might feel so tight that it might not even feel accessible. I just taught a yoga class this morning, so I'm feeling extra flexible, but not everybody. I've seen when people have very, very, very tight hips, So I understand that. So you can opt to sit down if that feels too much. So you can opt to sit down. And the same thing. So we do that figure of 4. So this is what the leg looks like, figure of 4. And trying to bend forward. So I'll do that standing as well. Bending forward, sticking the bottom out. And then the more you stick the bottom out, hopefully the more stretch you will get along the right hip. So sitting down a little bit more. So if you're standing, this also is a good balancing. So you can even do this by sitting down. You can even try to do this without holding on to the desk. So just reaching, you could reach forward, whatever seems to work for you. Okay, let's just come out of this pose, shake the legs out. Let's do the other side. So lifting up left knee, bending that right standing leg, and placing the left around the left ankle area around onto the right side. So sitting down though, this side might feel completely different. So we often have one leg that might be working a little bit harder, and you might feel a little bit of pain in a place that you might not realize. And it's just from that movement. So sitting down a little more. We're never trying to force ourselves in this movement either. So breathing is always a good thing. Again, you can do this standing or sitting. So in a meeting, you might need to sit, and you can just bend forward, trying to lengthen through the spine. So we're always trying to engage the spine muscles as well. Okay, great, come back, shaking it out. One last stretch, which is a nice chest stretch. So we do, when we're sitting at our desk, I do this as well. I notice that my shoulders are rounding. I'm really working hard. So it is hard just to sit down or stand up, and bringing both arms out to the side. So we're opening the chest up. So we're making kind of goalposts. So we like to think about goalposts right now. So opening up the arms. So feeling the chest opening up, so breathing. So we're inhaling and exhaling, bringing the arms together. Feeling the area around the shoulders. Inhaling and open. Exhale, close the arms, bringing them together. One more time, inhale, open. Exhaling, arms come back together, and then back down. Roll the shoulders. Pull the abdomen in, pull the belly button in, and reversing the rolling. Okay, shake it out. And then we're going to just finish off with just 3 deep breaths. So I'm going to sit down. It's nice just to sit down. It's almost like a micro meditation. So taking 3, that is quite a buzzword these days. Apologies for the buzzword. Okay, 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Try to make it as deep as possible, feeling that stretch around the rib cage, the upper, middle, lower back. Exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Okay, this third inhale, trying to make this the biggest breath of the day. Inhale. Inhale a little more. A little more. Exhale. So I'm hoping even after 3 inhalations, try to go to 5, whatever you prefer. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining. Any questions?
Wow, sorry, I was still breathing there.
Yeah, you could take as many as you want.
Couldn't quite get to click you back on there for a second. Thanks for that. I'm certainly going to use it and replay it, I think, as well. We can replay them after the webinar.
Great.
Yeah, so actually someone's just asking us there, will the recording be available? So yeah, absolutely, it'll be available as normal. So we'll be able to do those yoga techniques over and over again. If anyone's got any questions for Shannon, do drop them in the box. We've got a comment here from someone saying, I absolutely love that. We'll try and make it a daily routine. Thank you very much. So that's had a real impact there.
Oh, good.
Shannon, I mean, it's a question from me really. At what age do you think, people should start with yoga? Is it, good for our children? Is there an optimum age to get them into yoga?
I think the age is just for anyone, actually. And it's just nice because more things are coming out from anyone from kids all the way up to just any age, really. I think that yoga for kids is really good. The little ones love it because it's a bit of entertainment, and when they're storytelling, and you can integrate poses for them. But as they start to get older, my son's 11, and he's kind of at that age where he might just do a little bit just to appease me, but he'd rather be out mountain biking or on his phone. So, but he, it is so important for kids exactly at that age, just to bring a bit of confidence, because that's one thing I like about teaching kids. I do once in a while. It's not my key focus, more my focus. I do like the corporate wellness. It's more of my thing than the kids yoga, but I haven't trained in it. And the one thing I did like about doing it for various kids is that it really, you find ways of bringing on confidence. And there are a lot of positive messages that come on to that. But actually the same kind of confidence does lead through all the way into adulthood, because a lot of adults end up doing it because they have injured themselves and their physio has said, you need to do yoga or Pilates. And I think everyone, I mean, I was told that in my 20s that I had a weak core despite all the exercise I did. So I was told that, and then kind of moved in this direction as well. So, but I would do it as a preventative. So prehab, that's another buzzword, prehab rather than rehab for the body. So, yeah.
Okay, I've got some more questions and comments coming in, so let me read through these. You have to excuse me for not being able to quite look at you sometimes when I'm just looking at the questions, but we've got someone here who said, I took part in an online yoga session, yoga with Adrienne.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this?
Yes, I love Adrienne. I think she's really cute. I think she's about 10 or so, probably more, probably 20 years younger than me. She's really good. I like her. She's not overly American. I mean, I know American, but I've lived here for 20 years. But she isn't, when you search on YouTube, you can find a lot of things, but she seems to be the best. She kind of doesn't take herself very seriously. She's comes from an acting background, and she knows her stuff. It's nice, good plain yoga. So it's good. I mean, we do videos as well so if you particularly like me, but I like Adrienne as well. I think she's really cute. And she does a lot of different free videos as well.
So we've got a comment here saying this was great. I feel revitalized and ready for the day ahead. So that's
great.
A lovely comment there from someone. Thank you for sending that in. I am the same. It has made me aware of how to help my aches and pains while sitting down at my desk. We'll definitely be doing the other exercises, so thank you for this start. That's a nice comment. Thank you.
Oh,
great little session and very useful. My only question is, where did you get your desk from, as it looks ideal for home working?
I got it from a company called sitstand.com. So they do all different, I actually have, I have my computer here on a riser as well, which is really good because I work at the kitchen table, like hot desk. But here, I'll just show, there's another desk, and I just have it placed here. And it's a really lightweight, that's another nice one. and you can have it standing up and down. That was quite inexpensive. So yeah, these ones are really good as well. They're good for kids or anybody who wants to move around on wheels. But yeah, it's good. They've got a lot of good things there. So.
Okay,
So, yeah.
We've got another comment here. Will an invite be sent for Friday desk yoga mentioned by the instructor?
It's Tuesday. But
It's on Tuesday, is it? Someone must have
yes.
thought it was Friday. But
Yes.
I mean, if we've got the link, we can certainly send that out to everybody who's attended today and share it as also on our corporate Yammer page as well for anyone who wants to join. So thank you for suggesting that.
Great.
Okay, question here. When doing a stretch, is it always inhale into stretch, then exhale when returning to center?
Usually, yes. But if you were to see in some yoga classes, sometimes, a lot of times you inhale to lift and then say exhale, full forward. Sometimes you would exhale on the exertion. So meaning a lot of times, let's just say that you're on your back. Well, usually you wouldn't be doing desk yoga, but just normal yoga. If you are coming up into something called a bridge pose, where you are on your back and you push your feet in and lift your hips, usually you would exhale because you're exerting, but in that case, you inhale to lift. So I guess inhaling to lift is usually the rule of thumb, but there are always exceptions. That's a longer way of putting it, but yes, usually it's a lift, inhale, exhale back to center, usually, yes.
And, you know, for the absolute novice, someone who's never done yoga at all before, you know, what do you think the starting point is?
The starting point? Well, it could be just doing, or just a lot of classes are, even if they're multi-level classes. So I know that some of the gyms and everything are starting to open up, and we're all from different locations. A lot of gyms or yoga studios or people online will offer multi-level classes, meaning that they'll often, as I did before with the sitting and standing at the desk, doing the poses, a lot of yoga teachers will offer, well, you know, you can do this pose, or you can increase whatever, you can lift your leg higher, or whatever it might be. So you can do some online videos first if you don't feel comfortable in going into a studio or a class. There are special videos for beginners as well that start with the basics. The one thing with beginners though is just trying to, especially if you're a beginner at yoga but like to compete in things like other outside extracurricular sports, it's just not to do everything the instructor says if you don't really know how to do it, basically. And a lot of people end up pushing themselves. So if I give 2 or 3 options, a lot of people just push themselves to that third, more advanced option where they don't need to, and nobody's judging. That's one thing as well. If you're going into a group class, remember, everyone's thinking about what they're doing on their own, and nobody's looking at you or judging if you're not lifting your leg high enough. I certainly don't. I've been doing yoga for years, and I don't look like those Instagram ballerinas. So people don't expect that.
That's good. It's always a little bit intimidating, isn't it, going somewhere to start a class, you know, for the first time. But you know, once you get yourself over the threshold, so to speak, it's not too bad.
It's intimidating trying anything new, actually. So I understand.
Yeah, but you know, you can make a little circle of friends as well, can't you, that you can connect with. I do remember it's a few years ago now, well before COVID, and I really got into doing Zumba, which I think, you know, was fantastic for my core at the time. I really would love to get back to it. But I've been going for about, you know, sort of 3 years, and someone came to the class that was brand new that night, and you could tell they were new because they were looking around a little bit lost. And I said, oh, you know, come over here, you know, stand by me, you know, etc. And you know, we did the first sort of couple of you know, records and moves or whatever. And we stopped for a quick pause, you know, so take a breath. And she said, oh, is it your first night as well? I went, no, I've been coming 3 times a week for 3 years, but I'm still no good at it. But as long as I'm moving around, that's all that matters, you know. And we became really good friends after that.
That's great.
I know, I'm not very coordinated. Maybe yoga's the way to go, you know, a bit more calm and steady.
I
Have
went
to
to
give
a
it a
Zumba
go.
class. I went to a Zumba
We've
class
got some
once.
more really lovely comments here. Thank you. Could have done with this 40 years ago, says one. Another person saying thank you for an excellent session.
Oh,
A couple of questions.
good.
I have a weak core and my muscles tingle at my lower back on the left. With your other webinars, is there a specific one for the back and this muscle?
Other webinars. So, do you mean other just other classes, like online
Other
classes?
classes, yes.
Well, it depends because it might. A lot of times, people will have specific pain in one part of their body, so it isn't. I do classes that do focus on the lower back and the muscles that are around it, but it wouldn't. It really depends on, you know, if is that an injury that needs to be looked at by the doctor. Because it's one thing with yoga teachers is they should never be kind of professed to, unless you have like a physio or chiropractic or anything background. But your normal yoga teacher shouldn't necessarily, you know, advise if there is a lot of pain. Now, if there is a little bit that you're trying to even out, there are classes that focus on the core and also focus on strengthening the lower back. There are a lot of exercises that can be done to strengthen the lower back. So yes is the answer.
Okay. Does Shannon have any comments on the benefits of yoga versus Pilates?
Yes, well, actually, I was supposed to be at Pilates this morning. I do like Pilates. There is a difference, but there are a lot of similarities, actually. So you will see there's a lot of crossover. So Pilates was originally designed for dancers to strengthen their core because they're so flexible, and a lot of dancers get injured. So by Joseph Pilates, I think back in the 1920s or something. So I don't know the exact date, but yoga is one of these practices that has been very much modernized. So like a lot of our classes seem quite Pilates-esque, meaning that we do focus on the core, because I believe that it's one of the most important parts of the body, the muscle groups in the body. But there are a lot of interesting yoga. Yoga is varied from anything from very spiritual, which we don't really do. The closest we get is we do a yin yoga class, which is a very long, strengthening, more meditative sitting. You're doing mostly sitting and holding poses for a long time. So, but for the most part, there are so many different types of yoga classes out there that can go from very spiritual to very sporty. We kind of veer on the more sporty, more preventative side. But there are many, many different types. So we do something called vinyasa flow, or it's kind of hatha, which is the basic. And a lot of our classes are geared towards beginners to intermediates. So, but yes, Pilates is, there are a lot of similarities, and I quite like Pilates as well. And because both focus on core muscle groups. So yeah.
Do you think it's beneficial to start with yoga and move to Pilates, or can you go straight into Pilates?
It doesn't. It really doesn't matter. It depends on the teacher as well. So the teachers will specify that you can do yoga. You can do, any teacher, whether it's yoga or Pilates, will say all levels or intermediate. So it will state, or you can just email them or call them and ask, let them know. Definitely let them know before, maybe not as they're starting the class, but email them and let them know. I wouldn't expect them to email you if you're new to them. I would email them directly and say, hey, I'm new, anything I should know. But it doesn't matter if it's yoga or Pilates. Yeah, it is very similar. I mean, a lot of yoga classes, I go to other people's yoga classes as well, because I enjoy it. And you know, we all do try to, there is a lot of crossover.
Okay, thank you. So I think that's for our questions, but again, another lovely comment. I'd like to thank the instructors. Thank you, Shannon and Suez, for this great session. Oh, I've got here. Oh, someone asking, can we include a link to the classes the instructor's referring to? Yes, absolutely. We'll send you an email out to everyone that's joined us today with some more information and details. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at what we've got coming up next week. So next week we've got Simon Richardson back with us, and he's going to be talking about finding windfalls during change. And in that webinar, it's going to invite us to consider the possibilities of windfalls or the positive impact that change can have. We'll explore some strategies that can help people be mindful of windfalls and how to use positive approaches to stress management. So that proves to be another great session next week. But in the meantime, thank you everybody for all those questions and wonderful comments. Really great engagement on the webinar today, and lots of people on and joining us as well. So clearly a subject that people are interested in. So we'll bear that in mind for the future. And a huge thank you, Shannon. Our people have absolutely loved the session. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Tracy. I appreciate you inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Have a good week.